Hello, 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 hello. I guess I feel like talking because this is like my third video. It's I guess it's a topic that I feel like it's questioning. Yeah, I feel like questioning the topic. What a word. Questioning. Yeah, don't think about it. Just say it. Questioning. um, what do you say to normal people? I've been asked, so what do you write about? And then I answered, consciousness. Then, what is your channel about? Awakening. Well, it's not really about awakening. It's about being awakened and the aftermath. Like once seen, it cannot be unseen. Yes. I don't really want to see this all of this because reality is not as beautiful as I was promised to be. You know, enlightenment. Yes, enlightenment. Yeah, I remember the short I made. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's called Enlightenment Sucks. It was one moment when I just realized how boring life can feel or seem when you're no longer playing with and into the dramas, when all dramas like disappear. It can feel quite numb, like if you really drop away all the attachments, if you see through all the illusions, if you discontinue lying to yourself about yourself, if you let go of the grief, just, allow it to be and don't need to fix it, so then it will fade. Or you actually go through the pain that's underneath it. And then there's the shame and the guilt and the fear underlining all of it. Yeah, so for those who didn't notice, this is the old 7 chakra system reversed. Attachments, illusions, lies, grief. Probably can just see it. Third chakra, shame, and then second chakra, guilt. That's why we feel so guilty about finding someone attractive, even though they're not like age appropriate or I don't know, your wife is sitting next to you. Guilt. And then in the first chakra, the root chakra, there's fear. And so there's this really nice short little video from a clip of the Avatar series, the animated series, and then his teacher explaining to him that chakras are like pools of energy, and if the first pool gets like congested or blocked, then fear arises, and then so on. So from fear, in the second chakra, when it's blocked by fear, of course, or influenced by fear, then You step into guilt, and so on. This is usually why people don't recommend, and I wouldn't recommend it either, don't recommend do like a kundalini awakening, a forced kundalini awakening. I mean, if you're ready, you're ready, and I can understand that you want to go for it. But this kundalini energy is this, the serpent sleeping in the first chakra. It's just laying there dormant, and you wake him up, and of course he wants to blast through all these blockages, and yeah, it's gonna bring out a lot of shit, a lot of undigested trauma, drama, and all that. I mean, I believe when you're ready, it will show up anyway. No need to force it or rush it. So, but I sincerely doubt it, but I don't know. Maybe like the Canadian guy I met today, or the Dutch guy I met a couple of days ago. Maybe if you're like totally unaware of the whole awakening business, the shifting consciousness that it actually is, it's really shifting gear from third density into fourth density, from the 3D level, frequency levels, bandwidth, into 4D, 5D. It's all relevant, but if you've never heard about this, if you're like clueless, so where to start? I mean, I can explain everybody. Like, okay, so the 7 chakra system. Even if you have never heard of the chakra systems, there's a whole new chakra system, and I think I've never spoken about this before on this channel. Homemade coffee from Java. The 13th chakra system is was received. Is what she calls it. Battery almost done. Okay. Received by a Dutch mystic, and she she wasn't hot about channeling, but I think she opened herself up to the field and the knowledge and the Akashic records of the Sophia, the all knowledge. In my opinion, very feminine energy. The word philosophy is philosophos, the love for Sophia, the love for wisdom, knowledge. And the 13th chakra system is like, you could see it as an upgrade, but I rather see it as a whole new system, because the old chakra system, it works with colors, red, orange, yellow, etc. And there's talk above, another 5 chakras above, and no, I don't think these are really relevant anymore. The 13th chakra system, they're called the Aquarian chakras, and since we're moving from Pisces into the Aquarian age, maybe we're already there. I don't know. It feels like a transition, a slow transition from one phase into another. And like the birth of Christ was the start of the Pisces era, and before that it was Aries, like the Roman, and Taurus, the Egyptians. Makes sense if you know a little bit of astrology. It really makes sense. So the Aquarian chakras, they're very they have a very different dynamic, because they, if you take the first three chakras of the old system, the root, the navel, or the sacral, and solar plexus, the third, and you upgrade them, so they no longer use a color distinction, but a symbol. And I will only mention the first one. So the first one is the white rose, and it symbolizes the universal love, not to be confused with unconditional love, because in my opinion there's no such thing as unconditional love, because it implies there's also conditional love. Well, I believe that love is unconditional by definition, so there's no conditional love because there's no unconditional love. So Sonia Bos is her name, B-O-S. Sonia, S-O-N-I-A. She's Dutch, so she's not very well known. I think she had like 2 interviews with some American guy, and he kept talking, and I think she said like she had like 5 minutes. Well, it's good coffee. So let's continue. The first 3 chakras, they gotta upgrade: universal love, universal light, universal life. And then the new 4th chakra, the spleen, is universal being. And these 4 together, they represent the personality, your personality. The 4th chakra, the spleen, is the seat of the akasha, the akasha of your personality. If a reader reads your spleen chakra, they have access to your personality akashic records. It's not been used a lot because it's basically still a very unknown system. I've been trying to promote it. I still do like initiations. I recorded a video, and I still need to do one in English. I might do it for this channel. That would be, good idea actually. And then the next 4 chakras is the soul, represent the soul, and the next 4 chakras represent the self, capital S, or as she calls it, geest, which means like spirit. Not to confuse with ghost, which is similar, but And then, there's 4 for 4 is 12, and then the 13th chakra rules it all. Feminine energy. The divine feminine is the 13th chakra. Divine masculine is the 12th chakra. I guess that's why there's still so much confusion about the whole masculine feminine balance, divine bullshit. I mean, if you truly want to grasp this, not from a concept but really live it, for me it seems like you have to move through all these steps first. You have to really embrace living from universal love, then you start radiating your universal light, then you embrace life as the universal life, just everything unfolding on its own, and then universal beingness, which is what this channel is mostly about. It's just be, you don't have to become anything, you can just be, relax and just be. Which is really hard for most people. I find it hard too sometimes, to just be. So much to do. So much to work through or fix. Yeah. So you're so totally, you went through all these stages, so you're totally aware of the personality, and you not being the person. Then you get to the soul levels where you have to work through a lot of karmic shit, like family karma, karma related with your name, your bloodline, through the mother and the father line, and then where you grew up, this area, the city, the country, the continent, the world. You know, there's so many levels that you have to go through, like you being human, you being part of a group of humans, like tied into your job and your craft. Yeah. And of course there's shortcuts. I don't recommend them, but there are shortcuts. You might be a very old soul who already know all of this, so you don't have to go through the whole shish kebab. Just become aware of it, and then once you're aware of it, it's done. And then you get into the self levels, where you really need to step up and be the you that you truly are. The person totally integrated, the soul totally integrated. Like you can make the clear distinction between your person, the ego, the mind, all these levels, and your soul contract, what you came here to do, who you've been here before, the soul that incarnated many times, which you are not. And then, you know, you tap into these levels of consciousness where you're just pure awareness. Yeah, you're almost like a guru. I don't pretend to be there. I'm aware of it. Most of it. Some of it. So again, if you know nothing about any of these concepts, what do you tell someone? You're not the person? No, I think it's confusing. I had a talk with my brother. He's 1.5 years younger, 19 months. And I did like an experiment with him. I said, you know, those thoughts you're having right now, yeah? You realize that you are not actually thinking. The thinking just happens. And yeah, a friend of mine, hypnotherapist, later explained that this was like a form of induction I did. So it was like in some sort of, he went into this like hypnotic state. So he tuned out. He was like, for a brief moment, he was like fully aware of that he was not the thinking was just happening. Yeah, I often, when I do like guided meditation, I often explain like, okay, see the thoughts as a river flowing by. You are sitting next to the river, and just let these thoughts flow by. You don't have to do anything, just let these thoughts flow by. And then he immediately kicked back into the thinking itself. He became the thinking again, mostly because a remark by his wife. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. See you in the next.